I've said many times that stretching is a hazardous activity and that therefore the greatest precision is required in instructing or executing the stretch. In this video, I'm going to show you the 10 parameters that influence and create the stretch of the sternocleidomastoid and scalene muscles, i.e. the 10 parameters that you need to watch whilst executing the stretch. Welcome, I'm Olivier Girard, ergonomist, posture therapist, author of the Posture Manual and creator of 3 online posture programs. As we're gonna list 10 parameters, posture parameters that influence the stretch, well, you will quickly understand why I don't like shortcuts that I've already described in another video, such as stretch your head looking upwards and you will be fine. No, you will not be fine, and here is the demonstration of it. To do the stretch, you need to lie down on your back, and we'll first look at what I do with my head, then with my collarbones, then with my lower back. So for now, let's just look at my head. To stretch the right side, say, I will have to turn my left ear in direction of the left shoulder. That's called lateral flexion in the neck. Then I'm gonna do a rotation in the opposite direction. So rotation to the right. So I rotate around this point of contact between my head and the ground. And then I'm gonna do a very slight extension. All right, so 3 head movements, that's 3 on 10. That's lateral flexion, rotation, extension. Already you should feel something here. So working on your head is working on the cervical spine and therefore on the upper attachment of the scalene and sternocleidomastoid muscles. Now we're going to work on the lower attachment, because you know that creating a stretch is creating distance between A and B. So we push the extremity on one extremity in one direction and the other extremity in the other direction. So now we work on the lower attachment. Your collarbone needs to go basically in direction of the floor and in direction of your hip joint. That means down in both ways, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is rotate the arm outwards. So the palm is facing the ceiling. That's one parameter. The reason for this is that if your palm is facing down, suddenly your collarbone shifts forward. All right, so by having the hand facing upwards, we already create a bit of movement of the collarbone in direction of the ground. But to make this movement bigger, we will activate the lower trapezius, yeah, that will bring it further down. And next, we're going to try and bring the hand in this direction, either by going with the fingers and then turning the palm upwards again, or simply by crawling on the back of the hand. So we just described 3 more parameters, which is not this, but that, collarbone further back and down. And now look at the impact of the pelvis on the stretch. The reason for this is what I call the spinal equation. The spinal equation, to cut a long story short, states that your lower spine and your cervical spine work together against the thoracic spine. In other words, everything that you do in your neck will influence your lower back and conversely. If you don't believe me, well, stand and look at the ceiling. You see, as soon as you look at the ceiling, your lower back hollows. Hence, there's this play between up and down. So we will look at the impact of the lower back on the stretch that you feel on your neck. Ready? We have the head position right, the collarbone position right, and now we're gonna do the following. I have already brought one foot in direction of the buttock and the other foot in direction of the buttock. This was to flatten the back. Now, to increase the stretch on the right, I'm gonna bring my knees slightly to the left. And then I'm gonna push the right hip joint in direction of the feet, and this will have a tendency to slightly hollow my back, hence I'm going to do a pelvic rotation to reflatten the back. So you see, these are 3 lower back parameters, and each one of these 3 you should feel will impact the stretch on the neck, i.e. reinforce the stretch on the neck. And now comes the last parameter. You know, as soon as you will have to focus a bit on different things, you will tend to be a bit stressed, to tense up. And put your hand here on your neck and clench your jaws, like this. And you see, you create tension right in the area that we're gonna that we're trying to stretch. In other words, if your jaws are like this against each other, well, you create a force that acts against the stretch. Hence, to help the stretch, you need to keep the jaws relaxed. The trick to do that is just to do, yeah, to put your tongue between your teeth, and if your teeth are clenched together, well, you would bite your tongue. So this forces you to keep relaxed, and then once you're relaxed, you remove the tongue. So all in all, it goes like this: lateral flexion, rotation, extension, palm upwards, collarbone down, collarbone downwards, rotation of the knees, bring the hips in the foot direction, flatten the back, and to make sure that I'm not stressed, and there I wait for 1 minute. So you see the difference between this way of explaining the stretch and just saying, well, look upwards somewhere behind you. This is clearly not the same. Now, why am I doing the stretch lying down? For two reasons. Number one, there's less weight on the spine and therefore less muscle activation that will resist the stretch. Number two, each posture, each of the 5 basic postures, sitting, standing, lying down, kneeling, or on all fours, is characterized by a different profile in terms of weight on the tissues, in terms of mobility, and in terms of stability. And each time you choose one posture, you should choose it in view of these 3 parameters. And when I lie down, I have the most stability, and this is why I choose to do this exercise lying down, because it is a dangerous exercise, and therefore I do everything I can to make sure that my posture is safe. The safest posture and the easiest one to control is lying down. So what you see with that is that posture is a complex topic, not a complicated topic, a complex topic. It requires precision, and therefore you should run away from every advice that starts with the 3 exercises to fix your posture, the one trick, the one secret. There's no one secret, one trick. There's a lot of focus, concentration, and what's called proprioception, i.e. feeling your body well and controlling it well, and this is the key to your well-being.